Hey, it's Grady at Twin Creek Audio, and today I'm doing something different in this video. You may have noticed that the screens and the console behind me are not on, or no lights on anything. That's because I'm not going to stay in the studio today. What I'm doing is I'm going to set up a small analog hybrid studio in a spare bedroom. So I'm going to switch to a wireless microphone for the rest of this video instead of the regular studio mic that's off camera right now for this shot, and go over where I've assembled a collection of some of the different gear that I've accumulated and made videos about here on the channel. So let's go see what kind of an analog hybrid bedroom studio I can set up. So here I am in the spare bedroom. I've got a nice assortment of analog gear, and I'm going to add some digital gear too so that this can be a hybrid bedroom studio. But just having an analog bedroom studio in and of itself is pretty cool. So we've got the Fostex Model 450 recording mixer here, a Fostex R8 1/4-inch 8-track. Back here I've got a DBX 163X compressor, and I've got various cables. Ooh, that one I haven't even opened yet. So I've got cables to connect this stuff together, and I've got to find some space to put like a screen and the computer. Well, it's under here, but you can't see it in this shot. So I'm going to start connecting this stuff together. So the first thing I'm going to do is connect the Fostex 450 mixer to the Fostex R8. And these two are a great match because they're both RCA jacks at -10 levels. So we can plug either direct outputs or bus outputs into the inputs of the Fostex R8, and then the tape outputs from the R8 will go to the tape inputs on the 450. So I'm going to connect the analog part of the setup first here. Hope you can see this pretty well. These are the tape inputs up here, 1 through 8, and then the tape outputs are here, 1 through 8. So we're going to take our RCA cables and connect the tape outputs. So we're going to start with 1, which is red. So we've got our RCA cable here, and this is channel 1, channel 8. The way I usually do these color-coded ones is I just kind of go by the different shades. I start with red. So we're going to go do tape input, red, and then we're going to do orange, and then yellow, red, orange, and yellow. So we've got red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, gray, and brown. And these are the tape inputs on the console. So that's our tape outputs connected to the Fostex 450's tape inputs right over there. I'm looking back here, and I'm going to have to be careful and leave some space behind the back of the mixer because the XLR mic inputs and line input 1/4-inch jacks are back here, as well as the stereo master outputs are over here where they're just almost off camera. So I've got to leave space back here. So now I need to connect the direct outputs from the Fostex 450 recording mixer to the tape inputs on the Fostex R8. So we're going to go from the direct outputs, which is the jack right next to the tape in on the Fostex 450 channels. So now we need to connect this end of the snake to the tape inputs on the Fostex R8 tape machine. If you remember, the other end of this snake is connected to the direct outputs on channels 1 through 8 of the 450. So let's go ahead and plug in the tape inputs from the direct outputs on this end. So there we go. Now we have all of our tape inputs and outputs connected from the tape machine to the mixer over there. Okay, I think this is gonna work now. I just need to scoot those cables down a little bit, and then I'll scoot this back up against the wall. So it'll pinch the cable and provide a little bit of strain relief. And then now I should be able to fit a screen back here behind the mixer. I like to keep things kind of neat. And down there I actually have the power cables from both of these devices crossing these unbalanced connections at right angles. That way you don't get any inductance happening with AC current getting into your unbalanced signal cables. That'll probably work. Oh, well, this is fun under here. Let's see. We should have our snakes right here. Uh-oh. This is gonna be a little messy. To do this, I shoved them down here and didn't look when I was doing it. So now I gotta struggle to get these to wind back up neatly. Not too bad, that should work. Let's see if we got enough length on top. That works though. It's fairly neat. Hey, there's another outlet over here. That's good, I didn't even know that. Got to add some of the hybrid part of the setup, so I've got to put a monitor back here. Let's see if I can sneak this in. I have this FireWire interface. It's an Echo Audiofire R8. I'm going to connect that. I'm not going to show the parts connected in the computer because, I mean, it's computer connections. There's lots of videos on how to do that. I'm just going to connect the FireWire cable for this to the PC that's up underneath here. So I've got the remote for the R8 kind of sitting on top of this audio interface. Hopefully that won't cause any problems or anything. And the computer, PC, is over here. I believe this one's actually, it's an older PC, a spare one that I have, and I believe it's running Windows 8. So I need a keyboard and a mouse. I like these little small skinny Dell keyboards because they don't take up a lot of space. And that's especially good today because I don't have a whole lot of space on this little kind of card table sized table. It's plastic though. Need a mouse mat. And a mouse. I have to remove the remote out of the way momentarily, very carefully here. This is vintage equipment. So I've got 1/4 inch jacks on this end of the snake and RCA jacks on this end. So I'm just going to use like 4 of these to connect some inputs and outputs from the mixer to the audio interface. Start with red and orange. Let's connect those probably to the inputs. I'm going to go to number 3 and 4. 3 and 4. So that's our, now we've got an input connected. Let's do an output now. We'll come from 1 and 2 output, and we'll use yellow and green. Oops. Okay, so we've got an input and an output, a stereo input and a stereo output connected to this audio interface. And now we can move this remote back over here. This is kind of a tight space, but we're going to make this work. I'm actually going to route this snake back behind here to keep it out of the way. And then remember our input to the audio interface is red and orange. So we need to find an output on the console that we want to connect to the input of the audio interface. So let me pan the camera up here. And let's find some outputs. I'm going to go from the stereo outputs, and I can't really get a good camera angle since these are on the back, but I'll take a close-up so you can see that better. So basically this is the stereo outputs from the console, and I've got those now connected over down here to the audio interface right here. And that's actually inputs 3 and 4 because I have inputs 1 and 2 on the front, and I want to save those in case I want to plug a microphone or something straight into this. So now I need my outputs from the audio interface and to plug those into somewhere on the mixer. And we used yellow and green. We've got an aux in right here, left and right. So we're going to go to that. So our output from our computer audio interface is going to go to the aux 2 input for now until I find something better. Is that going to work if I go to the aux 2 input? Where does that come up here on the console? Oh, right here, you can monitor it. And that's really all I want, is to be able to hear what's on the computer and playing back through the board. So that's aux 2 input, left and right. So I can select that here in the monitor section of the mixer so that I can hear playback. Oh yeah, I've also got this DBX163X compressor that I can use with this setup. I can just kind of fit this in right here, back here. I guess that's easy enough to get to. We'll put the more slider on the top. Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with how this turned out. Everything surprisingly fit on this card table sized like plastic table. Got the Fostex Model 450 recording mixer, got it connected to the Fostex R8 1/4-inch analog tape machine. We've got a DBX163X compressor that we can patch into any of the channels on the console. We've got a digital audio workstation. We're using an Echo Audiofire 8. Basically this is set up just for the mix down device at this point. In the future I'll be able to get a patch bay. For now I can repatch if I wanted to, say, transfer something from tape to digital or some other variation or hybrid style mixing, like where I want to run all of the outputs from this interface through inputs on this little mixer and then capture the output. So all those things will be possible in the future, but for now this is a cool setup. It's going to give me a different setup than my normal studio to maybe write some songs and experiment with things in. Still missing a couple of things though. I probably need to raise this up a little bit so I can see it over the mixing board. And I also don't have any studio monitors right now, although I do have a couple of headphone outputs right here on the Fostex 450. So I may just go with that, or find some computer speakers or something else to set up somewhere so I have some monitoring. I also need some things to record with this setup, but we've got a djembe, bass guitar. Now this is an acoustic drum set. There's some other guitars. Probably not going to do any acoustic drums in this little studio, this little bedroom studio. And I'll show you why as we pan around the room. There's some more instruments over there, and the reason that I'm not going to track any acoustic drums in this room at all. There are animals here. We don't want to scare the animals. Hey there, Lily. Well, it's getting late now, and that took a lot longer than I thought it was going to set this up. But I think it came out really well. It's going to be a really interesting place for me to make music and be creative that's different from my normal studio. You can let me know what you think in the comments below. Also make sure to like this video, subscribe to the Twin Creek Audio channel, and hit the notification bell icon so you can be informed when future videos are uploaded on this channel, including videos where I actually use this setup so we can hear what you can do with a setup like this in my analog hybrid bedroom studio. I think that's what I'm going to call this video. Well, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Make sure to check the links in the video description for other videos that relate to this video, including my videos about the Fostex Model 450 mixer and the Fostex R8, among others. And thanks so much for watching. I hope each and every one of you out there has an excellent and wonderful day, night, evening, weekend, weekday, hour, minute, second, nanosecond, whatever it is you're having. Have a good one. Thanks for watching.